More than a year into the civil war in Ethiopia, it witnessed a transformation and reversal in the battles that Abiy began. Ahmed, the Ethiopian Prime Minister, against the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which he described as terrorist and rebel and has not yet come to an end, in light of the sharp division that Ethiopia suffers from, which embraces more than 13 different ethnicities, between which there were previous wars. A year-long war that claimed thousands of lives and displaced more than 1.7 million people. Instead of achieving a victory for Abe, the maneuver he started appears to have backfired. Not only did the Ethiopian forces fail to advance but suffered a series of defeats that left the capital, Addis Ababa, open to attack, forcing Abiy to declare a state of emergency and call on the population to take up arms to defend their cities. Have you seen Ethiopia? During the war, a sharp division between the population of one country was reinforced by hate speeches by means of official media and social media platforms, which made the end of the battles in the near future unlikely, and developed several scenarios for the end of the crisis afflicting the country, whose population is suffering from massive famine due to the expansion of the battles, the lack of basic materials and the emigration and displacement of hundreds of thousands fleeing the war. Scenarios of war in Ethiopia. The war put Ethiopia on the edge of the abyss and threatened its existence in the current form due to the inter-ethnic battles that some claim autonomy for their ethnically majority provinces, so that even if Abe succeeds in restoring matters and repelling a potential attack by Tigrayan forces and allied groups, he will face a major challenge in reintegrating Tigrays and restoring a sense of national identity. In light of questions about Abiy Ahmed's ability to rule and maintain security in the country, the magazine saw that the war in Ethiopia, it has 4 possible scenarios, all of which threaten the survival of the Ethiopian state, which has always witnessed internal conflicts between different ethnicities. Richard Hartshorne, a geopolitical expert, says that the viability of any country depends on whether the united centripetal forces of the country outweigh its centrifugal forces. Tigray victory. The victory of the Tigray rebels and allied forces in the beginning of the scenarios, possible in light of the situation on the ground and the approach of the troops to the capital and control of strategic cities in the country. She saw that the victory of the new military alliance would remove Abiy Ahmed from power, but it would represent a political threat. New in the country, explaining that Ethiopians reject the rule of Tigray, whose leaders ruled the country for 3 decades with iron and fire until 2018. The magazine predicted the outbreak of a new inter-ethnic war against the Tigrays, and possibly a long-running struggle over the power sharing in the country, especially between the 2 main pillars of the alliance, Tigray and Oromo. Separation settlement. The second scenario, the occurrence of a settlement of the crisis between the regions of Tigray and Oromo and the Ethiopian government, ensures that no advance towards the capital and preserve the hitherto acquired lands and hold a plebiscite in the two territories to secede from Ethiopia. The magazine believes that this scenario may happen if the leaders of Tigray realize that a military victory can put them in the same difficult situation as my father. This scenario is likely to increase tension between Tigray and Oromo, which considers the Ethiopian capital part of its territory. It will also leave the main drivers of the conflict without a final solution. Soft coup against Abe. The third scenario is likely to add Abe to the list of African leaders deposed by coups in a continent. Her sold in such coups. The scenario expects the removal of the Ethiopian army leaders from Abi Ahmed, as it represents a major obstacle in the country. Being the cause of that crisis from the beginning, which threatens the survival of the Ethiopian state. However, a possible coup in this scenario will not solve the ongoing conflict, as the Ethiopian army appears divided internally and unable to defeat the Tigrayan forces and the Oromo army by force alone. Settling to keep the situation as is. It is believed that the fourth scenario is the Ethiopian government's control of the capital and the train line that connects it to a state. Djibouti ensured the flow of goods, and failed to recover any parts of the territory captured by the Tigrayan forces and the Oromo army. It is no secret that Abe was subjected to internal and external pressures to settle the current crisis. The magazine revealed the existence of secret discussions between representatives of both sides in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, but made little progress. Both groups include hardliners whose